SMU gets the win in the conference opener coming off the bye, and it was the defense that led the way.
You are Locked On SMU, your daily podcast on the SMU Mustangs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to same-day post-game reaction of the SMU win over Syracuse on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. I'm Grayson Singleton. Glad you're here with us. And let's go ahead and jump right in. SMU goes to 1-0 in the conference. And this is a really important step because if the Mustangs want to get back to the college football playoff, that path now runs exclusively through the ACC championship. So you got to get to that point. They are 1-0 and have accomplished step one to getting there. So let's not gloss over this game. Let's not gloss over the fact that SMU got a double-digit win. Sure, they finished the game a little sleepily, but SMU dominated this game. And outside of the first drive of the game, it never really seemed like Syracuse and backup quarterback Ricky Collins really got their footing on this game, which leads us right into my main takeaway for this contest. That front seven was excellent. I thought the front seven was excellent. And look, I thought the secondary, not to leave them out, I thought they looked better. Like, plain and simple, I thought they looked better. Were there still busts? Were there still some problems? Yes. But I thought it looked better. And when you've got a unit like that, just getting incrementally better week after week after week is going to suffice. It's going to suffice for Scott Simons. It's going to suffice for Rhett Lashley. Both of them know that unit's got to get better, but they played in a way that was their best performance against a Power 4 team this year. But the defensive front seven, I thought, was outstanding. Invading the backfield, Brandon Maizano coming up with the interception. The defense was optimistic. That might be something I talk about. I will talk more in detail about come Monday. But invading the backfield, the running game never got going for Syracuse. Ricky Collins never was real comfortable in the pocket. Even when he got the ball out quick, if you noticed, you could see the pocket beginning to collapse even when he got it out quick. So I thought especially the front four for SMU really, really played well. And you ended up with a couple of sacks, 5 TFLs in the game, and a goal line stop from a yard out. Syracuse snapped the ball from within the 2-yard line twice and could not get it into the end zone on that opening drive. Well done, well done, well done. Cam Robertson, plenty of shout-outs from the broadcast. I thought he was excellent. 6 tackles, a tackle for loss. Turbo Smith had a sack. Terry Webb had a sack, and he also had the big goal line stand. He made the tackle on the final tackle on the 4th down. But one of the things we said coming into the game this week is that make Ricky Collins, the backup quarterback, beat you. Just make him beat you. And how do you go about doing that? Well, you got to take away the run game. And it's a Syracuse team that has not been able to run the football all season long. And Ricky Collins got loose for a couple, including a long 22-yarder. He got loose for a couple, don't get me wrong. But outside of Collins, in the traditional run game, this is what Syracuse was held to. Yassine Willis, 15 carries, 41 yards. That's 2.7 yards a carry. Will Nixon, 7 carries, 10 yards. Between the two starting running backs, 22 carries for 51 yards. That'll play. That will 100% play. That is excellent run defense on the part of SMU. And as a result, Ricky Collins completed less than half of his passes. Less than half of his passes, 1 touchdown, and 3 INTs. I don't think there's any way you can slice it. And sure, they got a garbage time touchdown. That's going to inflate some of those numbers. That's why I didn't read off the 279 passing yards. We watched the game. We know what we saw. There's no way you can slice this and say the SMU defense did not look good and did not lead the charge in this game. I thought from start to finish, they kind of got pushed around on that first drive, and then Snap woke up at the goal line and threw up a 0 on that first drive. And then you got turnovers, you had sacks, you had no run game to speak of. You had, a couple of deep shots and Ricky Collins spinning free. And that's about it. That is really about it. for the Syracuse offense, unless I'm missing something. Otherwise, I thought this SMU defense, A game for you guys. A game for you guys. They finished it a little bit slow. That's why I'm not giving you an A+. Maybe could have had a little bit more sacks for an A+, but an A game for the defense. And let me say this too. The tackling looked better. It wasn't great tackling. It wasn't pristine tackling. But in terms of what we're trying to find with a team that has had some deficiencies is get better every single week. Just get better every single week. And I thought they got better this week. I thought some of the tackling was better. I thought there were still some misses. And we'll certainly see when we go back and watch the game again. There were some misses, but I thought it was better. I thought they came out fresh. I thought they came out with an aggressive attacking mindset. And as a result, I will say this. Some of you might disagree with me on this. I did not come away from that game thinking, man, if Steve Angeli was the quarterback, Syracuse would have definitely won this game. I don't think that. I think SMU handled its business defensively in a way that they certainly could have and possibly would have won the game if Steve Angeli was the quarterback. Real talk. Because especially Ricky Collins kept some drives alive with his feet. Steve Angeli ain't that. Ricky Collins is a superior athlete to Steve Angeli. Now, he's not a superior quarterback, but he's certainly a superior athlete. And SMU still won that game pretty comfortable with him at quarterback. So I didn't leave that game thinking if the starter for the Orange was behind center, that Syracuse definitely wins that game. I don't think SMU won that game with the assistance of a catastrophic injury. I don't. Turning things over away from the defense, and we'll get back to the defense when I give out some players of the game. The offense at first looked a little shaky. And it is a little concerning that the offense takes a minute to get going. A couple of 3 and out on the first drive was certainly not what I was expecting. But as the game went on and you look at the totals, TJ Harden, another game where he ran for over 4 yards a carry. All right. Outside of him, the running game wasn't great, but the running game didn't need to be great given the plan that Rhett Lashley and Casey Woods came into the contest with. Kevin Jennings talked about it. I talked about it on Friday. This could be the game where he has his best game. And 29 completions, 6 incompletions. He completed 16 in a row at a point. 285, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Kevin Jennings, I thought, had an excellent game. Spread the ball around. RJ got into the end zone. Jalen Cooper, was featured. Had a couple plays where the ball was separated from him, but he was featured. And Ymir Knight got in the end zone too. So it was good complimentary football. Your kicker, Sam Keltner, whose name just slipped my mind. 1 for 2. We still got to figure out the kicking situation. I don't know if that's ever going to be something that SMU relies on this year, which, if you're in a pickle, kind of makes you wonder if SMU is going to be able to come out on top of those high leverage situations. But overall, I thought the complimentary football was good, but it was the defense that stood out today. But the offense was good as well. Coming up next, players that caught my eye in this game. We'll discuss a few that really stood out to me on the other side. So keep it here on this post-game reaction on Locked On SMU. You can just move through life, or you can find things that move you. It's your choice. You can choose to get out there, choose your people. You can choose to go for it. Like, really, go for it. Just choose to do something that moves you. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. Mazda, move and be moved. We're here on the weekend, and let's go ahead and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. And just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered the most. So let's break it down. We just talked about it in that first segment. SMU's front 4 delivered here today. And they've been delivering all season long, by the way. Sometimes they've fallen short because of attrition, but that front 4 has really been one of the strengths of this defensive unit. They held down the Syracuse running game. Ricky Collins was never really comfortable in the pocket, and they contributed on forcing a few turnovers as well. So that's who delivered for SMU. And when it was time to play, they came to play. And if you've been watching week after week, as I know you guys have, this performance is just another trend on the season. And just like SMU's defensive front line delivered for SMU, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash streaks, you can save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply, and this promo period runs through November the 18th. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-life guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools to help you plan, stay motivated, and reach your peak performance. I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps, suggests the right weights, and corrects your form, making every rep safer, smarter, and dare I say, more effective. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Continuing this post-game reaction here on Locked On SMU as the Mustangs get a win over Syracuse, 31-18 to begin conference play. And if you took my advice and bet SMU to cover, well, my bad. I mean, look, it was a garbage time score, man. Sometimes backdoor covers happen. But ultimately, as it relates to the spread, I will say this, and I didn't feel worried about the 17.5. And for most of the game, SMU played like they were covering the 17.5. And remember, when we talked about this, I believe on Friday, it may have been Thursday, but remember when we talked about this, my take is that you just want a comfortable, dominant win. And to me, that's what I got. I didn't get perfection because I don't think this SMU team is going to give us perfection this year. I just don't. But I got efficient quarterback play. I got a decent running game. I got a bunch of receivers involved, and I got a defensive front four that was nasty. And I got 3 takeaways. So +2 in the turnover margin. Improvement on third down, by the way. You were just about 47% on third down, 5 out of 12. And your quarterback played his most efficient game to date. I thought you got a 17.5 point type of win, even though the cover didn't happen. But notable players, and speaking of the quarterback, let's start with Kevin Jennings. 29 of 35, just shy of 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, that's a career high, and only 1 pick. I thought he was good. I thought he was really, really good. And how many players caught a pass for SMU today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 players caught at least 1 pass. Led by Romello Brinson, 7, Matthew Hibner's 5. Jordan Hudson, 6. And then Matthew Hibner and Yamir Knight with 5. That was a good offensive day, orchestrated by the quarterback who executed and operated the offense very, very well. I thought he did. I also was encouraged. You guys noticed this. First play from scrimmage. Y'all remember what the play was? First play from scrimmage? Design quarterback run. Now, they didn't do it a whole heck of a lot in the game. But if that dimension of the offense is back, and I know Kevin kind of came up gimpy late in the game, so that'll be something to monitor. But if that can be back, and if that can be part of the offense, that just unlocks a whole nother dimension for an offense that is pretty good, by the way. And speaking of an offense that's pretty good and incremental steps, how about the pass pro? I thought the pass pro was really good in this game today. There were multiple times where Steve Arduzzi on the broadcast said, no, this pass protection is really, really good. And they gave Kevin Jennings ample time. Now, sometimes the receivers didn't uncover, which led to an incompletion or a sack or something like that. But I thought the passing game in terms of a total operation was very good. I thought it was nice. Other players that stood out. RJ Maryland. I'm going to keep it on the offense here for just a second. RJ Maryland looks a little bit more spry. He looks like he's getting healthier and healthier week by week. And then him complemented by Matthew Hibner, those two tight ends, where I guess RJ's a wide receiver now, but you get the idea. Those two guys together are starting to look like what we thought it was going to look like at the beginning of the year. Those two combined, Hibner and Maryland, for 8 catches for 95 yards. Between my two hybrid tight end wide receivers, I will take that. And then Maryland had a touchdown too. I will take that. I like what I saw from the Mustangs, two tight ends, Hibner and Maryland. I like that. Jordan Hudson looked good. Especially bouncing off a couple of tackles when he scored that touchdown. There was one play he didn't make, and he's still, I think he did this against TCU too, where he didn't come down with a catchable touchdown pass. And I still think there's going to be one play in a given game where he doesn't come up where he could come up. But I do think Jordan Hudson is starting to progress and look like a guy who can be a number one on this SMU team. Shout outs on the defensive side. Ahmad Moses, 9 tackles, a TFL, and an interception. And why do I shout him out? Because, that's a pretty standard Ahmad Moses game. He was everywhere. Y'all notice that? Like, he was everywhere. He was in the slot. He was on the back end. He was in the box. I liked how Scott Simons is using Ahmad Moses. He's just letting him just free reign, use your instincts, use your skills, and I think SMU's defense is better for it. I really do. So Ahmad Moses, salute to you on this day, because I thought he really leads the charge in terms of the aggressive downhill nature of the SMU defense today. Brandon Maizano got an interception on a really instinctive play, baited Ricky Collins into trying to fit it in between his zone coverage, dives in and sets up SMU, which the Mustangs, I believe, got a field goal on that drive. It ended up being SMU's second drive of the game, and they got a field goal. But Brandon Maizano, great play. And he continues, by the way, talk about improvement. He's stepping in and making plays and always giving a case for why he should get rotational snaps and why he should get the snaps that he does. So, Brandon Maizano, shout out to you. My last shout out, Cam Robertson. Cam Robertson was a beast, man. 6 tackles, a TFL, didn't have a sack, but constantly was pushing the pocket back and was really good against the run. And that's one of the things I like about him, is that even as a defensive end, he is really good against the run. He is the clear leader of that defensive line. And he's not focused on solely one thing, which for most edge players is getting after the quarterback. He's not focused on just that. He's also focused on making an impact in the running game as well. So I really like what he's bringing. I like that he's coming off the bye week on a hot streak. He looked re-energized, like a lot of this team did, by the way. And also really set the tone for that front line. So those are my shout-outs. Kevin Jennings, RJ Maryland, Matthew Hibner, Jordan Hudson, Cam Robertson, Ahmad Moses. Let me know in the comments down what you guys think. I'll look at them tomorrow, but we'll talk again on Monday as well. We'll go into even more detail from this game, and then we'll get set up for Stanford, which I don't know if y'all been reading a lot of the internet. There's some people that think Stanford could beat SMU. So this one could be a lot of fun next week too. All right, I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Thanks for watching this Locked On SMU post-game update as the Mustangs get a 31-18 win over Syracuse. They're 1-0 in conference play. Take it easy. We'll talk to you soon.